So welcome you guys to this episode of the Hombre Cave. Hope you guys had a great week. I know we didn't have our Tuesday live stream because, well, it was Valentine's Day and wanted you to be able to spend time with your excuse me, your significant others. The winds have been blowing crazy here. So I apologize for my allergy stuff here. I'm trying to keep it under control with water and tequila, but we'll see how well we can make it through today. All right, for those of you that didn't know, I did on aging projects, I did pull the staves out, and we're gonna taste through them on Tuesday. So make sure you put that on your calendar so you can join us. We do have all of our aging projects here, and the staves have been out of all of them. So I'm interested to see how well they taste and stuff after they had a little chance for the them to marry and meld and get all those wonderful flavors from the aging staves in the tequila. So that's going to be really good. We did a batch of Cabernet Sauvignon, and we talked about how tequila production and wine production is so similar. It's actually kind of mind-boggling how close it is. And then it also now kind of makes sense too that Cascanas, everybody talks about the brand Cascanas. The guy that makes Cascanas is a wine guru and a winemaker, and so that kind of makes sense there on how that all works. And then this week, I did a review on a brand that just released pretty recently. It's called Cardenas Legacy Tequila. I did the Blanco and the Reposado. Gave them a pretty good review for agave. So I'm really enjoying it. Right now I'm drinking the Reposado, and you can see how much of the bottle I drank. Actually paired it really nicely with a Hoya de Monterrey Excalibur cigar yesterday. Excuse me. I will make it through today. I'll be fine. Don't worry. So, well, let me check in with some of our subscribers. Hi from work, from Chris Baraldi. How you doing, Chris? Bienvenido. Glad you can make it. Hola, Jan. Glad you can make it. And Beyond Barrels is here. Oh, hello. Hola. Bienvenido. Welcome. And then we have another guest today that I'm going to bring up right now. And please welcome to the channel the owner of Cardenas Legacy Tequila and the guy that behind it. Please welcome Chris Cardenas. Hey, Chris.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to the Hombre Cave. Glad you can make it today and join us.
And thanks for the invite. And I know exactly what you're going through because I'm in SoCal here also and got the scratchy voice and everything going right now.
The winds have been horrible. Yeah. So I apologize if I'm coughing a little bit while we go through this. But one of the things I wanted to do is, I've known you for a few years now. I wanted you to share with us your journey on, why you created a tequila brand and how you went about that, and what brought you to creating the Cardenas Legacy tequila now.
Well, I'll be 100% honest. It was an accident, but a blessing of an accident. I worked in the music industry for 20 years. I put on music festivals and concerts all the way from Alaska to Guadalajara, Mexico. So I used to live in Mexico for about 3 years down in Puerto Vallarta. And I was still doing my concerts. I was doing concerts in Alaska, did some shows in Guadalajara and everything, even a few in Puerto Vallarta. Really started learning about culture and about tequila. And when I was moving back to Los Angeles, it was kind of like, man, it would be cool to own my own tequila sometime. And but I just thought, be back here, it's never going to happen. But in 2017, I put on a music festival with a bunch of rock bands, Night Ranger, Lita Ford, Pop Evil, a bunch of rock bands up in Alaska. Weather went south, lost a lot of money, and was retiring from the music. I found a company in Guadalajara that would put my logo on a bottle. Kind of like what people do with wine and stuff like that. You just have your business logo. Well, the funny thing was, I tried the tequila that was in the bottle. I only did like 25 bottles. I tried the tequila that was in there. And that tequila was never supposed to be in there. but I love the tequila. And I'm like, I need to know who makes this tequila. And so he's all the Gonzalez family. So the owner of this company went to the family ranch and filled this bottle with tequila from Reserva de las Gonzales.
Ah,
So, like I said, it was when I asked him for more, he couldn't get more. I'm like, well, I only want this tequila. So at the time, I was learning about tequila, but I still didn't know everything. So when he said the Gonzalez family originally, I was like, okay, so how do I get a hold of him? And he didn't give me any information. So we started researching it. And that time is when it clicked. Oh, duh, Don Julio Gonzalez. And they had sold the brand at that time about 3 years prior, I think it was, when they had sold it. So everything kept leading us to Diageo. We couldn't do it. My wife did some research. My wife is Mexican, and a friend of hers from Puerto Vallarta married into the Gonzalez family. And that's how we got our foot in the door. And Francisco Gonzalez Jr. or Senior, he didn't have time for me, but he goes, "Here, Junior, why don't you talk to him?" So, and that's kind of where it all started. So Francisco Gonzalez Jr. and I, we met up, we went over everything, talked about everything. I told him, is it realistic to start with 1,000 bottles just to kind of test the market? And he goes, well, I wouldn't say 1,000. He goes, nobody's going to, so we decided on 2,500 bottles. And then doing that small amount too, it was really hard. Already hard to find agave, but it was really hard to find a good agave at that time. So for my first tequila brand, which you know of, was only a 5-year-old agave, because that's all we could find, and I was a small batch guy. They weren't gonna give me their premium. So the first batch was a test of the market to see. We won some awards. We started doing good with it, and I'm like, well, maybe we got something here. So we started really looking into it, started moving forward, and then when I put the name out there, I couldn't fully trademark it because there is a guy in Montana that has a small brewery and he calls one of his beers by the first name, Anger Management, my first batch. So I couldn't trademark Anger Management, which was a blessing once again in disguise because I wanted to change the name, and I looked into Cardenas' name before originally, but I couldn't trademark it in Mexico, and I thought I had to be able to trademark it in Mexico and the U.S. But they said, no, if you're not selling in Mexico, you don't have to worry about it. So I got it all trademarked in the U.S., and that's where we're at now. And we just launched this, like you said, just in January. And we're getting really good reviews on it. Thank you for your review. And thank you, for everything. Mark, you've always been very supportive. We met technically, I think, through Julio. I think Julio told me to reach out to you.
Yeah, Julio Bermejo, yeah.
Yeah. And he said, oh, you got to reach out to Mark. He's a good guy. He believes in the good tequilas and everything. And as you said in the review yesterday, one thing I will never do is I will never put junk in my tequila. If you can't make it right, then that's just the way it's going to be. We're not going to try to do anything. We're never going to add anything to make it taste better or cheaper, make it cheaper.
I knew that, and that's one of the reasons why I knew that we'd be okay with bringing it into ferment and still too, because I've known you and I know the way you feel about good tequila, and you'd never put additives and stuff like that in there, and and you're about supporting the small producers and everything. So we have a lot in common in what we do with our tequila, our philosophies and stuff. So.
Absolutely.
But I also know too that
1468, the distillery, doesn't believe in additives either. I mean, they say they won't ever do it, and I hope they don't with anybody, but sometimes, as you've seen with other distilleries, money talks.
Yeah, they want to make the client happy. If the client wants something sweet, that's why, people like, Cascaween and stuff does brands with additives, because it's all in all, it's about making the client happy and giving the client what they want.
Absolutely.
But I knew that this distillery, while they have some stuff that is not my favorite. They do have some stuff that they make that's really good. And I know the Gonzalez family, Lalo's is a friend of mine, and he's Don Julio's grandson. And his dad, his brand was Reserva de Gonzalez before he passed away. And, they have a great reputation of doing stuff very well, and Don Julio itself, I used to drink it when it was made by Don Julio and the family before they sold it. And noticed the decline in it, when they did sell it. So
absolutely. No, it's, and Lalo's dad and Francisco's dad were the two brothers that kept the tradition going. The Lalo and Francisco Gonzalez Sr., where they started Reserva Gonzalez, and it's a good thing because it's a great tequila also. So Francisco and Lalo they're those cousins that are kind of carrying on the tradition too.
Yeah, they didn't want it to disappear when they sold Don Julio.
Yeah.
And then I like too that that they're all about honoring the agave, which the whole Gonzalez family is. That's why they don't really believe in doing the additives thing too, because they believe in the heart and soul of a tequila, which is the agave.
And another cool thing about the Gonzalez family too is, big as they are, they could grow their own agave and never have to worry about it. But they always buy from farmers too. They want to support the locals, so they do always buy. Now they're picky and everything, but they do. That's why one thing that their grandfather taught them was support the locals also.
Yeah. Well, they just built a new distillery too, right?
The Gonzalez?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been around for about 5 years now. 5-6 years, I think.
Well, they just had a brand new one. I think they just opened that Lalo's using for Lalo.
Oh no, it's not part of that side of the family.
Oh, okay.
So it's another. So they did just build 1468. Did just build a new distillery, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
They're still working on it. I went by there the last time I was down there. They got the Tejon, so I don't know who's going to be the first one in the distillery to use it. But it's probably going to be another 3 years to 4 years before it's completely done.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what's your vision for Cardenas Legacy? Where do you see it going in the future?
I still work a full-time job. I do have a couple partners and everything, so it's going to be slow growth. I'm going to do like I learned from the music industry, and do I want to be all over the country and be everywhere? Absolutely, 100%. However, that takes a lot of capital. So don't have that big of a capital right now. So we're going to grow from California outward and do a slow process. We are, some of the things that are happening, we're getting in a casino here in Southern California. We're possibly getting in a restaurant chain. There's a lot of things in the works. So we're already talking about making another batch here very soon. Because this batch of the Cardenas Legacy is only 7,500 bottles.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very small batch of tequila. And we're debating if we're going to do 7,500 again or go up to 10,000 on this next batch.
75 split between the Reposado and the Blanco, or?
And the Añejo.
Oh, and then you have an Añejo too in the works?
Yeah. It's going to be coming out at the end of the year. It's going to be a 2-year.
Oh, okay, great. Well, you're going to send me a bottle so I can review it for everybody?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I'd love to try it. And then you're going to do you have an extra Añejo and stuff in the works too?
I think we're going to. We weren't really sure if we were going to originally. However, they set aside more tequila than I thought they were going to set aside. So, I think we might keep a few barrels behind and maybe do a special extra Añejo or something down the road.
Oh, nice. I need to pour some more Repo in my glass. Hold on.
I'm actually sipping on some Blanco tonight.
Oh, nice. Well, why don't we open it up for some questions from our subscribers and stuff? Let's see if they have any questions that they want to ask you. We'll check in with them to hear too, because we have some more comments here. Scott Henderson says, "Want to know, just having a hard time enjoying anything other than Diablito Rojo, 123 Diablito Extra Añejo, Raysol, all good stuff." Good. Awesome. Glad you're enjoying that, Scott. Those are good choices. EBA 101 Boxing says, "Sup? What's up, EBA? Glad you could join us today. Bienvenido. Bienvenido. Hey, Winfred. Hello. Glad you can make it. And Chris says, hi, Chris. So two Chris's saying hi to each other.
Talking to himself.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
So if you guys have questions about Cardenas Legacy tequila or what it's like to build start a brand and stuff, feel free to ask away here. Chris is very good at answering questions and loves to share his passion. So are you still working for Alaska Airlines?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just got back from Texas all week.
Oh, nice. Well, I keep hoping that I'll see you sometime when I'm on a flight down to Guadalajara, but I don't think you fly out of LAX anymore, right? So
I'm a Burbank guy.
Burbank here, yeah. So I don't fly out of Burbank normally. I fly out of LAX. But I'm like, I wonder if Chris is gonna be on my flight.
I'll be out your way here soon, though. I'm gonna be in Claremont.
Oh, are you? Oh, you're gonna be down here?
Yeah. My wife's cousin owns a restaurant there called the Meat Cellar.
Oh, okay. We'll have
It's an
to.
amazing restaurant. Anytime I go out there, I go.
What do they specialize in? I'll have to check it out.
They're a steak place. He actually has a butcher shop right in the restaurant where you think so, but they're tomahawks and everything. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's a very well known restaurant in that area. I think he's been around for about 6 years now.
The steak seller?
Meat Cellar, yeah.
Meat seller. All right, I'll take my wife and we'll go for dinner sometime. I like a good steak. Who doesn't, right?
And another thing that we kind of, at first when I was doing this, I wasn't going to really push it, but a lot of my friends got on my case and said, aren't you proud? So we're one of the few veteran-owned tequilas. And a lot of my guys I served with and everything reached out and they're like, why aren't you saying you're a military?
The vet.
Because I was just one of those guys, I didn't know if I don't want to try to be like, well, here, buy my tequila because I was military. But I am a proud veteran. I'm proud of the time I served and what I did in the Air Force, and so I know there's one or two other veteran tequilas out there, but I don't know of too many.
Well, thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
We do appreciate that, and we appreciate all of the people that serve for us. And of course, I'm a huge my wife's father is a retired tank battalion commander from the Marine Corps. So we're very big with the military. We always sponsor a Marine Corps officer and stuff for Thanksgiving.
That's a real military.
Yeah, they're hardcore. And when I married his daughter, I was very polite and careful and stuff with him because the guy's hardcore tank battalion commander out of Pendleton down here in San Diego.
Oh, wow.
He served in Korea and Vietnam, so.
Oh, wow.
So we appreciate all of our military veterans, no matter what armed the military you served in. Excuse me.
I give my daughter a bad time. Yeah. Because she's in the Coast Guard Academy.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's not even the military. But I just give her a bad time. I respect them all.
Yeah, we do love our Coast Guard guys as well. So Beyond Barrel says hi, Chris and Chris. He says hi to both Chris's. Chris wants to know, do you have a distributor in Massachusetts yet?
No, not on the East Coast yet. There is some talks for possibly New York, but not in Massachusetts yet.
Massachusetts is a tough one because it's state run, so you have to do a lot of paperwork and stuff to get in there.
Like Virginia.
JCS Guitars says, hey guys, hey JCS, glad you could join us. This is Chris Cardenas from JCS? What's that?
I was asking if JCS is a musician with that name on their guitar.
I think he's JCS Guitar. So JCS, are you a musician? Or do you work in a guitar store, or what's the deal with the guitar? I think Chris wants to know. Are you a musician, Chris? Do you play guitar?
No.
I
was a singer in rock bands back in the day, but my dad's a musician.
I have a ukulele right back here that I'm learning to play. So
do it solo.
Maybe sometime I'll come and I'll play a ukulele for you guys. You'll be they're waiting for you in Massachusetts. So Chris works at a liquor store. So when he finds out good stuff that I review and stuff, they try to get it in for their store. They're actually going to have a Tequila Hombre section in their liquor store there in Massachusetts. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He told me they wanted to do that. I said, yeah, absolutely, go ahead.
You have to go out there and do signings.
Yeah. Chris says he's learning how to play. The other Chris. Oh, yeah. There's too many Chris's here. It's a big Chris fest.
It is.
Lots of Chris's. So you guys, I reviewed the Blanco and the Repo. I like them both. They're both really good. So if you haven't, JCS just answered your question. He says, yes, I play guitar and enjoy quality tequila.
Now that's the life.
What more could you ask for? I mean, now do you play guitar while you're enjoying quality tequila? That could make for a good time.
That's very important.
Music and tequila, I mean,
hand in hand.
Perfect for each other. I mean, once I drink enough tequilas and I sound like Whitney Houston when I sing. It's like amazing how good my voice sounds.
If you're sounding like Whitney Houston, that's some good tequila.
Well, maybe more like Bocelli, Andrea Bocelli. Every liquor store needs a Tequila Hombre set. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Beyond Barrels. Now, just so you know, Chris, if you ever want to try some projects and stuff with your Blanco, the Beyond Barrel aging staves are the aging staves that we're using for our aging programs. And it is like one of the best aging staves that I've ever seen for taking, like, we could take your Blanco and drop an aging stave in it. And just so you know, too, I have weird.
I've seen you do that, and it was pretty darn cool.
Yeah, these are the aging staves. They come all circular, so they fit right in the bottle, and they're made so it's for a 750 milliliter bottle, and you can literally take French oak or American oak, soak it in bourbon or whatever, like so you're like doing a bourbon barrel, and drop it in your Blanco, and I could sit here and turn it into a very good Repo, Añejo, or Extra Añejo just by using these staves that Beyond Barrel there sells. And we've done some aging projects. And I don't want to show other brands here while we're talking about Cardenas Legacy, but we've done some other.
It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother you?
It doesn't bother me. It's
the Carrera Blanco.
I'm a fan of other brands.
Yes, so the Carrera Blanco that I really like a lot. This is now a Carrera Añejo using their new Blanco that they did.
How long did that take you?
It took 4 weeks.
Okay, yeah.
And then, G4 Madeira, right? Of course, G4. Mm-hmm. This was a Blanco, but now it's like a really nice Añejo. It's also 4 weeks.
That's a good color.
Yeah. I kind of figured it out that for every week, it's equivalent to about 3 months. So 4 weeks comes out to about a year, right? So this would make it in an Añejo.
Yeah.
And then this is Viva Mexico, which is, the Vivancos up in Arandas. They're Blanco. And then I did this with a French oak and soaked in port. And so look at the color on that. And the flavors that come through are like equivalent of, like, if you guys were to use like a $5,000 quality barrel, that's the kind of wood that he uses for his stave. So the flavors are just a lot richer and stuff, and it's a lot better quality than what you normally see like in a used bourbon barrel and stuff.
Check that out. It'd be fun. I like playing around with stuff like that and everything. And to go back, you're trying to be proper and you don't want to show other brands, but you know what? I'm a fan of other tequilas too. I love my tequila, but I'm a fan of other tequilas. I'm a tequila lover. It doesn't matter if I'm own brand or not.
That's good. I like that. I try to be a little sensitive towards brand owners and stuff because we're here to feature your brand. So
absolutely, I get that.
So
who's going to be the next person on here that's going to start their own tequila company?
Anybody else been thinking about starting a tequila company? I know I have a couple people that I'm
going to order some of those from Beyond Barrels.
You should. Maybe we can work something out too, where we can do something like an aging kit together with the Cardenas Legacy or something. We got to see how we can do that, where people can. And then what you do is you say, hey, let's do a a competition, where people can come up with an idea for aging their Cardenas Legacy Blanco, and then
That would be very cool.
and then you give away, like you guys have those really cool T-shirts and stuff. You give away some swag like that for someone that comes up with like the best idea and the best aging project and stuff. And so I think that'd be kind of cool to drive business and sell more Blancos, right?
Absolutely.
So we got some more. I always grab the acoustic when I'm drinking. Yeah, great. Chris is a drunk guitarist, which is cool. Same. There's a Whitney voice inside of all of us with enough quality. There you go. And I will always love you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
My glass.
I need more tequila. Más tequila, por favor. Chris says my two number 3 French oaks will be here tomorrow. Very excited to start aging my G4 Blancos. Oh, nice. Good. Everyone's really excited. We've been doing all these projects, so it's new wine barrel wood versus used barrels. So that's the big reason it's quicker. There you go. The bourbon took all the good stuff out, when they use bourbon barrels. I tried Hombre's aging samples and can attest it was amazing. Yeah, I sent him on the first Hombre Cave broadcast. He won samples of some of my aging projects, so I sent him little 2-ounce sample bottles, and so he's confirming that it's good. Okay, whole different subject here, but he's starting a marijuana farm in a few months up in Maine. Well, I'm not starting it. It's my friend's farm who wants me to take over. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for just sharing that.
Well, he's starting a business.
Sharing that.
This is good to make sure you don't get the cotton mouth.
Yes. When you want to have some marijuana, have some tequila with it too. I mean, because tequila goes great with a good ganja. I do have a guest that I'll bring on for you, Chris, that helps marijuana farmers. He's a friend of mine. Works in the cannabis field. So we'll bring him on because what he does is kind of cool. So you can learn about that. And farming, says he does both indoors and outdoors.
That's going to be a very special edition of Tequila Hombre.
It will be. It will be. It'll be very high caliber.
He's like that.
What is that? Then scale it up. Yes, scale. Well, I wouldn't say the bourbon takes out all the good stuff. Used bourbon barrels are great for but it does take a lot of the good stuff out of the wood. So Chris is interested in the marijuana guy coming on. Okay, he's my friend JJ. We'll bring him on. But let's not get sidetracked from Cardenas Legacy. You guys have any questions for Chris about starting a brand and stuff, or everyone know everything there is because I'm just that good, or what?
You do educate people pretty well.
Well, thank you. I try. I actually.
And you know what? And I just want to say thank you for that because, there's a few people out there that really put the good word out there, about quality tequilas, but also just the quality process. And I'm not going to mention the brand, but I was in Sacramento, and this guy overheard me talking to these 2 girls I knew, kind of educate them on tequila. And he heard me talking about diffuser stuff. And so he told me what his favorite tequila was. I was like, oh, okay. So I just kind of let him walk away, and I started talking to him. Mm-hmm. He goes, I heard you still talking about the diffuser tequilas. So at that time, he didn't have my tequila. He does now. But he had Lalo. So I said, I want you to take that tequila that's your favorite, the diffuser one. I want to put a little bit in a shot glass, and I want some of Lalo next to it. So he took a sip of each one. And it was the best explanation of a diffuser tequila I ever heard. And he was a fan of this tequila. He goes, it tasted like someone took the soul out of the tequila. And I was like, that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
And he did it all himself. He just kept trying to find out more, and I just let him do it, and he found out. So, it's people just teaching people about that. People are going to drink what they want to drink. We're not here to tell people you can't drink whatever you want to drink. but do you want to wake up the next day feeling better? Or do you want to feel like crap the next day?
Absolutely.
And, Francisco Gonzalez Jr.
Yeah, you don't get that hangover and nastiness from it. But one of the reasons why that really happens with diffusers is because of the methanol. The methanol content in it, is they use those column stills. They just extract everything that they can, all the alcohol out of it. It's basically agave vodka that comes out, and then they just add the flavoring and stuff to make it. The thing with me, with what we try to, teach here, and what I try to teach is that it's not necessarily, bad if you want to drink diffuser tequila. We don't insult you for that, but just know what you're drinking. And if you know what you're drinking and you're okay with it, then great. We embrace you. We love you, even though, you enjoy additive tequila or diffuser tequila, but just understand what you're drinking and know it's the people that don't know what they're drinking that think that the Clase Azuls and the Cincoros and stuff are natural 100% agave, nothing else in the bottle but a pure tequilas. It's those people that we're trying to get to say, hey, this is not what natural tequila tastes like. Natural tequila actually tastes very good. It doesn't need these additives. But when you mess up a batch, putting these additives and stuff in there is a great way to sell it to people like you. And if you want to drink subpar tequila that they had to dress up with additives and stuff, by all means, go ahead. Mm-hmm. And some people make excuses saying, well, Coca-Cola's got additives. Sure, but if I pick up a can of Coca-Cola and I look at the back, it has all the additives and everything on there. I know what's in this can.
You know what you're drinking.
You can't say the same thing for tequila, because as long as they keep it below 1% for each smoothing additive, they don't have to put it on the label.
Yep, and that's when you're making those big batches, that's a lot.
It is a lot, especially how potent some of these flavoring additives and stuff are, and they can't test for the flavoring additives because they're dissolved in alcohol, and so there's no way for them to check to see whether you're meeting the guidelines and stuff for the flavoring additives. So there's ways to get around that.
Absolutely.
So Chris from Beyond Barrels is in Old World Wine and Cheese Making. They found that removing the local livestock, etc., from the area ended up ruining the flavor. Have you noticed the difference between stone grinders pulled by a mule?
So he's talking about the Tahona?
Yeah, but see, the only difference is the only distillery really that still uses the burros is Siete Leguas. Nobody else uses those anymore because people are worried about animal cruelty and stuff. So most of the Tahonas have been motor driven for many years. Even like La Alteña, Carlos, he used a tractor, and they just recently went to an electric tractor because they didn't like the pollution coming out from the exhaust from their gasoline powered tractor. But like Casa San Matias, they have Pepe the burro, which is a electric mule that's actually got a burro head, a rubber burro head on it. I have a picture of me sitting next to Pepe and I'm kissing him and stuff. It's really, really funny. But most of the other ones, the only one that still uses live burros is Siete Leguas. And so it's hard to say.
I don't think it would probably make much of a difference because you're just bringing that mule in to turn it real quick and then it's gone again.
Yeah, they do very short shifts, so they don't work them for very long, and then they have 7 sets of mules that they rotate. So they work a 20-minute shift and then they're done. So it's not really like they would impart any flavors or anything. It's not like fecal matter or anything like that gets in it or anything. It's so I don't think they would have any flavor on there. The only thing that you see from using Tahona versus a roller mill for your extraction is the Tahona itself, because it's a volcanic rock. It will impart a minerality into your tequila where the roller mill stainless steel, and that doesn't impart any flavors into the tequila. And that's one of the reasons, if you talk to Carlos Camarena for Ocho, that's one of the reasons why they went with a roller mill versus a Toona, because they wanted the pure agave taste, and the using a roller mill won't impart any minerality and stuff like a Toona rock would. Because the Toona rocks do wear down, just so you know, and you have to replace them, and they're very big and very heavy, and you actually have to buy a huge slab of rock, have it hauled out to your distillery, and then hire a guy that comes in and actually hand chisels the rock for you. So it's a very tedious job to do, and it costs a lot of money.
And that's one reason why we use the roller mill, just because, for starting a new brand too, it's a little bit more cost efficient than using the Tejon.
Well, it's more efficient. I mean, it's more efficient. You get more sugars and stuff out using a roller mill than you will from a Toona. That's one of the downfalls of using a Toona, is that it's inefficient. Mexican Coke, Mexican Coke is better too. So is Mexican Squirt, actually. Absolutely. Too. It's because they use that real Mexican sugar. Natural tequila is way better. Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks, Scott, for believing in me.
Thank you for supporting natural tequila.
Yes, we appreciate that. I don't think of animal cruelty. I didn't think of it. Yeah, that's the reason why, is because they thought animals were being worked too hard, and it was a. I will never go. Thank you, Scott. We have a converter. He's been converted. Say amen, hallelujah.
But I think once you've had an additive-free tequila that's a good tequila, it's hard to go back to an additive tequila. It really is.
I find that once you taste, like, if I was to go, like I have Cincoro here because it was given to me to do a review. If I try to sip a Cincoro right now, it literally disgusts me. I'm like, oh, this is way too sweet. I don't like this at all, because I've developed the palate for the natural stuff. Yep. It's like when I first started out drinking tequila, I started out drinking the sweet stuff. Cabo de Oro is what I got when I was in Cabo San Lucas, right? And it wasn't until I started drinking the other stuff where I was like, this Cabo de Oro stuff is just some syrupy crap. It wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And so now...
See, I was a original 1942 guy. I loved 1942 when it was the good stuff.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you go back to that, it had a good natural sweetness to it. You didn't have to put all that stuff in there. I mean...
And now it's just laced with vanilla additives, vanilla flavoring. It's like a vanilla bomb.
Yeah. Vanilla Coke.
Yeah. It's but hey, it's 1942. It's expensive, and it makes you look cool if you have a bottle of it when you're out with friends.
It's all marketing.
Chris says, I've had Cincoro, nasty. I still haven't tried Clase Azul. I want to, so I can see why my customers buy so much of it. Yeah, it's sweet, caramelly vanilla, sweet, syrupy stuff. Clase Azul.
When I was drinking that like 16 years ago in Mexico, it wasn't that sweet. So I don't know. It's just when they started bringing it to the U.S. that they did that. But yeah, I remember they had it even way back in the day at the Guadalajara airport.
Yeah, well, they had their own boutique there. They had their own boutique and they sell the expensive bottles and stuff when you're at the Guadalajara airport. I don't know if it's still there anymore, but
I don't remember seeing it recently.
But I remember I've been to the boutique store there before, where there's like, oh, you can only get the special bottle, beautiful, limited edition bottle there, and it's $1,300. People are like, hey, Hombre, can you pick up a bottle for me? I'm like, no. I am not paying $1,300 for you.
Bottles. They're beautiful bottles.
Yeah, they're great pieces of art. It's just the stuff inside of them is crap. So it's made of Productofino. I mean, it's diffuser garbage that they put in it. So
yeah.
Would a weaker yeast leave more leftover sugars and have a naturally sweet tequila if that's what you wanted? No. No, you just don't want to use a weaker yeast, because then you leave it open, susceptible to infection. bacterial infection.
Yeah,
You don't want that.
you only have minimal ingredients in tequila as it is.
So many people buy 1942 as a flex, but I see it as throwing cash straight to the trash. Yep, it is. That's basically what it is. That's exactly what it is, EBA.
Before I started my tequila, when I stopped drinking 1942, that's when I found Fortaleza. And, and I've just always been a big fan of the Reposado and everything. I could drink the Reposado. Now that I know, I'll drink that any day over 1942 or anything.
Oh yeah. Although Fortaleza now is kind of crazy. I don't even bother with that anymore.
Yeah.
It's gotten so expensive and so hard to find because the hype. It's this, but there's so many other great brands out there to try. Like Cardenas Legacy is a very nice one to try. That's readily available, and it doesn't cost you a small fortune. Price. Yeah, very reasonably priced. Says the stores are still there. Yeah, marketing is everything. It's true. It is. It really is.
Look at Patron.
What is it? Hey, Mark, I have an order at Ferment and Still that isn't sent out yet. Any chance they could add a couple bottles of Legacy? I don't know. Send them an email. I don't think so. Once an order comes in, it's probably already like in the process of being packed. So to add stuff like that to it makes things really difficult and stuff because it's they have their processes and stuff on how things run. And when an order comes in, it goes in through the process, and to try to stop the process to add bottles in and start things over again, it causes more problems than it's worth. So just I'd put it in another order. Just and I'll tell you what,
we'll be there for you for your next order.
Yeah, Jan is a member of the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective too. So if you put an order in for a couple bottles, Jan, I'll make sure that they refund you your shipping. Okay, so your shipping will be on me. All right. So if you want to give Cardenas Legacy a try, pick up a bottle of the Blanco Repo or a couple bottles of each, whatever. I'll cover the shipping on it. So I'll make sure they refund the shipping. Okay, so go ahead and do it.
Where do you live, Jan?
He lives in Florida.
Oh, awesome! Love to get the tequila out there.
He lives in Florida, and he also in the wintertime and in the summer lives in New Jersey, I believe it was. So he's got.
He's a snowbird.
He's a snowbird, yeah. He leaves the snow in the summer and hangs out in Florida, or the winter and hangs out in Florida. But he's the guy from Florida that everyone always talks about. Hello from Columbus, Ohio. Oh, Columbus, Ohio in the house. Thank you for your great.
Hello, Jake.
You're welcome, Jake. Thank you for tuning in. Bienvenido. Welcome. Glad you can join us today. On that note, how much variation in yeast is there in tequila? It's there's a large variation. A lot of times the yeast is your yeast. Do you cultivate your yeast, or is it you take it right off the agave from the fields?
From the fields.
Most of the time, the yeast grows on the agave, and so you can actually pull yeast cells off of off the agave and they'll cultivate it right there in the lab, grow it, and then pitch it once it's cooked. And after they've done the extraction stuff into the, and that way it's yeast that's used to the agave sugars and stuff. So it does a very, a better job, more efficient job of fermentation. This cough is driving me crazy.
Yeah, we got rain coming, so maybe it'll help.
I was out playing golf in the wind today, so that's
that doesn't help.
No. So that's why I'm having
Mark,
all this.
I might have to get you some more tequila there. You've gone through that pretty good.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I drank like half the bottle after I did the review. I was like, wow, this stuff's good.
Thank you.
And I really enjoyed it. I'm going to do another cigar pairing with it, but the Hoyo de Monterey Excalibur #3, it pairs very nicely. So if you're a cigar smoker, pick up a Hoyo de Monterey Excalibur. It's a very common cigar. You can find it at a lot of cigar shops and stuff. Just about everybody carries it. But it's a nice medium-bodied cigar. Mild to medium. It's put it in that range. But the flavors, it's very nutty, and it's got a nice kind of a latte-esque kind of coffee notes and stuff that come through on it. Very woody, but it goes really well with paired really well with the repo. So last night I smoked a Hoyt Monterey Excalibur number 3 while sipping on the Cardenas Legacy Repo, and literally polished off, half the bottle last night when I was in the garage enjoying the cigar. So I know some other cigars I think too would go really well with it. So I'll do another cigar pairing with it. For those of you that are here on the cave that are cigar smokers, I know we have a few of them. So
we know we have cigar smokers and other smokers.
Yeah, well, Chris is our pothead. Not Chris, not this Chris. The Chris Baraldi is awesome. I'll get a couple of bottles of each. Yeah, pick up a couple bottles of each, and then I'll make sure they refund you your shipping on it.
Thank you for that support.
Oh, cool. Natural fermentation. Yes. Natural yeast. They do open fermentation. They just leave the tanks open too, right? So if there's any fruit flies or anything like that coming from the fruit trees in the area, it helps impart some nice flavors in it as well when they visit. It's funny. Tony Saez will always talk about that because they have mango groves around their distillery and tequila. And he's like, the fruit flies, you see the fruit flies everywhere there. He says, they impart a little bit of, was it mango? Not mango. Pomegranate trees.
Oh, wow.
So he's like, it does bring some pomegranate flavors in because the flies are all over the pomegranate and they bring it in and drop it in the tequila and they let nature do its thing. It's great.
That's how they got that flavor.
That's it. It's the flies. It's like,
gotta bring more flies around.
Jeff, what's his name? Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum. Smoking the devil lettuce. Yeah, there you go. Jesus. This whole conversation just taking a whole big different swing that what we're used to. It's like, whew, all right. Enough about the devil lettuce, Chris. We don't need to talk about that. All right. Is there any more questions for Chris Cardenas about his Cardenas Legacy tequila? Ask away. That's what he's here for.
Absolutely. Any question you might ever have.
Yes. Any questions about his journey in creating this brand, or any trials and tribulations that you went through, or anything like that? Go ahead and ask.
No, don't even start there. I started this tequila during COVID.
Oh no! Well, tell us about that. What was it like?
No, just everything. Just everything. So when I first started, of course, all the government buildings shut down. Couldn't get everything passed. Everything took forever. And then we were making this batch is when all the bottles were out.
Glass, yeah.
So you couldn't find bottles. You had to order, they were like, well, we can order some, but you have to order 30,000 bottles from China. I'm like, I don't need stinking 30,000 bottles. So I started thinking about it. Well, maybe I can sell them and make some of my money back or whatever and this and that. But then Francisco came across, luckily, it was like 6,000 bottles. And that's what we needed for this Reposado and Blanco right now. So we got lucky and it all worked out. But now things are getting better. They've gotten a lot of bottles in from China. Mexico's starting to produce again and everything, so it's getting better. Still a little bit of a shortage of agave, of course, but it was a crazy time to start a tequila brand.
I can understand that. I was given the gift of COVID when I went to Mexico on one of my trips. Came back with it as a beautiful gift from my friends there in Mexico. And then I found out afterwards, I'm like, oh, hey, I got COVID. Like, oh, yeah, I've had it 3 times. I probably had it when I was talking to you. I'm like, oh, great. Well, thank you. Like, oh, you're part of the family, Hombre.
Made it down there back.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get...
Were they not doing the test to come back then?
No, they did, but I didn't test positive the day before I flew back. So I went in and, they did the nose swab and everything. Like, oh, you're fine. And I think half the time it's like, oh, just give us $20 and we'll say you're fine, type of thing. But because they did the swab and everything, and it came back.
Week's test.
Yeah, it came back negative, and they're like, you're good. And then when I came back, it's like I was like, I don't feel very well. And we did the home test here, and it's like, oh, you're positive. So then I was locked in a room by myself for 10 days, you know, and everyone's going, what happened? It's like, and then my friend, the Camarena, were like, oh, well, we've had it 3 times and blah, blah, blah. Maybe we gave it. I'm like, well, thank you. You should have told me that when I was sitting there with you across from you instead of getting me sick. Yep. Like, well, you're part of the family, man. Come on, we're all getting sick together.
I don't want to be that close.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. You guys consider me part of the Camarena family, but please, I didn't want to get COVID. But I'm lucky I didn't get quarantined for 10 days in Mexico and have to stay there. You know.
I have my own nurse down there, so whenever I was going down there, she would just come right to my hotel room and wait 10 minutes and okay, good to go.
That worked out good.
It's so crazy. You couldn't do that in the States. It cost you probably $200-$300. It's like you said, it cost me $30. She came right to my hotel, done, and that was that.
Nice. Yeah, I had him drive me to a medical, you know, clinic, and they did it there. It was $15. I was like,
yeah, yeah. Life is so much simpler. I miss living in Mexico. Well, I'm gonna definitely retire in Mexico and enjoy life. I'm gonna have a hole-in-the-wall bar. It's gonna be open whenever I decide to go in, but just gonna go down there and enjoy life.
Well, when I come visit Mexico, I'll stop by your bar and we'll have some drinks together and
absolutely.
And we'll talk and just have a good time. So, because I'm in Guadalajara probably 2 or 3 times a year now. Go down there, see my friends and stuff. Yeah. Jan just placed an order. Okay, I will check when we get done with this and make sure that you get refunded on your shipping. Okay, Jan. But
thank you for that.
I expect you to, after you try it, to share with us on a live stream what you think about it. All right, and if you agree with me that
please do.
It's good juice. And I'm sure Chris now is going to become a subscriber here to the Hombre Cave, so he'll watch and we'll probably see him pop on more often now and join us as our group of friends here that we are.
Yeah, I haven't been on social media as much, here and there, but rebranding and just everything going on, it's been crazy.
Well, we don't really consider this social media. We consider it Hombre media, so it's different. It's
Hombre media.
It's very nice. We don't bully people. And people that bully get smacked and ignored. So we don't bully. We're not negative. We don't assume the worst about people here. It's all a very happy community. We're all here to learn and share and love tequila, since tequila's about loving and sharing and, socializing and, not fighting and stuff. So we don't do any of that. So it's a lot different here than the cesspool of crap that is social media.
You know what? And you are exactly right, because that's the way the tequila world is. Because you don't see a lot of the distillers, the master distillers, and all arguing and fighting with each other. There's always something that happens here and there, but it's a really tight-knit community.
You know who fights with each other? It's the families that fight with each other in tequila. It's brothers. Exactly. It's brothers fighting with each other. It's like, come on, guys, you're brothers.
Exactly.
But hey, the Camarenas and the Vivant, they're best friends. It's all the families intermix and they're all best friends. But the families can't get along with each other.
Yeah, no, that's a different story. But yeah, but like even like me, with some of the other owners of tequilas and stuff, we talk, we support each other. I mean, tequila is becoming the #1 spirit, but it's still only 27% of liquor sales. So there's a lot of room for growth.
Oh yeah.
There's no need to backstab anybody, or the one thing I will say is, I know I make a great quality product. Nobody can ever say they make the best tequila in the world, because everybody's palate's different. Everybody likes different things. I've seen people that say they don't like Fortaleza. I don't understand how, but that's their prerogative, and just with other tequilas. So, that's why there's so many tequilas out there, is because everybody's palate's different and everybody likes different things.
And they're all different. They all taste different.
Absolutely.
That's why there's people like me to review them and drink more of them.
Absolutely. And with good reviews, and that's what's important too.
Yeah, I don't bash brands. You'll never hear me say something's like really awful and stuff. I'll say why I don't like it. and say,
But you don't use area codes.
what's that? Oh, area.
You
Yeah.
don't use area codes.
No. Well, I mean, but even with the area code tequila, which 818 is we're talking about, even I didn't say it was horrible. I just said it's really sweet and not to my liking. So this is not something that I would drink. But if you're somebody who likes really sweet tequila with additives and stuff in it, then this is perfect for you. If you're a Clase Azul person, this is perfect for you. But if you like natural tequila, leave this one off your table because you're not going to like it, which is true. I mean, it's my wife loves it. My wife is an additive queen. She loves additive tequilas, loves them. The sweeter, the more syrupy and stuff, the better. So we have a bottle of 818 that I got for a review that's sitting in the pantry downstairs that she drinks, and she's like, I love, because for her, I guess the burn and just the 40% alcohol, and so she's like, because she's a wine drinker normally. But if it's sweet and syrupy and tastes like vanilla and caramel, she's all about it.
See, my wife likes mezcal.
Oh, nice.
So, but unfortunately, I was always safe, but now she loves the new Reposado. I came home the other night, she was actually sipping on some. I'm like, hey,
stay out of my stash.
Yeah. She's always been a mezcal girl. She likes mezcal. She's not an expert on it, but she's been to Oaxaca. She's been down there. She's tried them.
Yeah, we're getting into mezcals more on the Tequila Hombre channel, and we're going to be doing more mezcal stuff here on the Hombre Cave as well. I have some brands that are going to come on and talk.
I need to learn more about mezcal.
Well, you should join us. You're more than welcome to.
I will. I actually have a brand that's in Mexico that wants me to take it over.
Oh, nice.
But they're out of Puebla, closer to Mexico City.
Okay. Yeah, I know another.
I'll admit,
Fosforo is the one that's out of Puebla right now. Puebla.
Yeah, no, this one's it won awards in Mexico. It's a Poblano.
Oh, Poblano chilies?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Interesting. What agave are they using for it?
That I don't remember. And I don't have the bottle here now. But I'm just getting into mezcals. I didn't like mezcals, but I tried this one. I was like, I could drink this. And I think it's just like anything else. You also have to get your palate used to it and get the different, flavors and, you're just everything out of it.
I was just telling somebody today on Facebook about that, where they said they didn't like this particular mezcal. And I said, you have to understand with mezcal, you can't just try it once and say, I don't like mezcal. Because you have to develop a palate for it. You haven't been drinking it. You're drinking something completely different. It's like, and I try to I learned a lot about wine production and how close it is to tequila, and there's a lot of different aspects of wine that is very similar to agave spirits and tequila, in that wine, there's different varietals, right? You can have a Chardonnay, you can have a Pinot Noir, you can have a Cabernet Sauvignon, you can have, all these Pinot Grigio, you can have all these different kinds of grapes, varietals, right? Well, it's the same with agave spirits, right? Tequila just features one agave, which is Weber Blue, right? But you jump into mezcals, there's Tepestate, there's Jabali, there's Tobachiche, there's Samiana. I mean, there's all different kinds of Mexicano. There's all different kinds of agave that you can experiment with, and all of them have different flavors. So there's a saying in the mezcal world is that if you don't like it, when somebody says I don't like mezcal, it's because you haven't found the one you liked yet.
Yep. Let me ask you something, because I'm not as I don't know a lot about mezcal. Are they having the same problem with additives?
No, they don't allow it. It's in their norma, their rules, that you cannot put any additives in a mezcal without putting it on the bottle. So, example, I'll show you an example, okay? This is kind of cool. This is one thing I really like about mezcals, but I'll show you an example.
All right, guys. While Mark is gone, I'm taking over Tequila Hombre. Get your questions going.
All right. Well, I don't seem to have the the bottle that I wanted to show you, but I have a mezcal gin that's actually really good, and it has all of the botanicals listed on it because it has to by law. But like this is an example here. This is a Cinco Sentidos. Let me cover it up so you can see it. But you see it says Pechuga de Mole Poblano. So this has mole and a poblano chilies in the still. So they have to, because they use that, they have to put it on the label. So anytime they use,
it has like a chocolate flavor.
Yeah, it has chocolate and a chilies. So they it's this particular mezcal tastes like Christmas in a bottle. It's like really extremely good. It's hard to find right now because it's so limited in production. But okay, I can show you another one here. Hold on. This will show you. All right, so this is like a hardcore ancestral tequila, but it's a mezcal because it's made, it's certified by the CRM, and it's made in Michoacan. But if you see, it says on there,
there it goes.
Destilado con Granada. So this has pomegranate in it. So anytime you put anything in it, it's got to be on the label. You have to disclose it. A lot of times it'll say avocado on it, which is additives. So it'll say avocado and it'll have a listing of everything that they've put in it. Because by the rules, mezcal cannot have additives and stuff in it without it being listed on the label.
So they can do it, they just have to list it.
They have to list whatever they use on the label.
Fair.
It's great. Yeah, that's perfect. So then you know what you're drinking, right? I know this one is Weber Blue Agave. It's like an ancestral tequila, but they put pomegranate in the still for the third distillation. This is delicious. If you haven't tried it yet, you should pick up a bottle. It's exclusive to Ferment and Still. But it's like a true ancestral tequila in that they use a hollowed out tree trunk to make it as the still, and a clay pot, underneath it. So this is like when tequila was made, when it was called Vino de Mezcal de Tequila. This is exactly how it was made. This is like a true ancestral. It's not like a faux ancestral like what Cascoine did and stuff. This is done like they used to do in the backyards when they were making tequila in tequila,
Very cool.
So the flavor profile on it's amazing. It's a really nice example of that. And so I always try to tell people, if you want to know the roots of what tequila used to taste like before it got industrialized with, industrial boilers and stuff for steam, pick up a bottle of this. And it's so good.
Let's see where I can find it out here.
Well, we have it on Ferment and Still. It's exclusive to us.
Or there.
We bought the entire batch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's 48.5% alcohol by volume too, so. What did you say?
Oh, while you were gone, by the way.
What's that?
I said I was taking over Tequila Hombre.
You were taking over Tequila Hombre?
Yeah, while you were gone.
What does it say? It says, I've got a regular class as old customer, try my G4, driven the St. Leguis. And he still wants Clase Azul. Some people can't be helped. Yeah, that's true. Some people can't. And the terroir matters more than grapes or agave. Yeah, absolutely. Agave terroir matters very much. That's why they have the whole Altos versus Valle agave, where the agave grown terroir plays a part. Absolutely.
Yep, we're the highlight.
Quick, tell us a secret about Mark. What do you think Chris knows about me? I mean, he's not like my roommate or anything. We're just friends. Oh crap, he's back. Yeah. I wasn't gone that long, Chris. See, his name's Chris too. So Beyond Barrels is Chris.
So, geez, so there is a lot of Chris's.
I told you there's a lot of Chris's here. He's Chris Harrington, and then we have Chris Baraldi here, who's laughing and encouraging the whole situation, and then Chris Cardenas. So we have all these Chris's. It's Chrisapalooza is what we have going on here. Go. All right, we're already 7 minutes over an hour, guys. Any other questions and stuff for Chris, so we can let him go and get back to his family life and his personal life?
Family night with the movie.
Yeah, there you go. What are you watching?
I have no idea. I let the kids pick it out. So
my daughter's in Vegas with my wife,
anyway, because halfway into it, I'm like snoring.
I'm bachelor. I fall asleep too. It's normally a Disney flick with my daughter, but she's in Vegas right now with my wife at a hockey tournament, so I'm home all alone, bacheloring it tonight. So, I need to know Chris's friend's number with the marijuana farm, and maybe I'll do a little. No, I'm joking. I will have a cigar though with some more Cardenas Legacy Reposado. All right, well, it doesn't seem like any other questions have come through, so thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. I think everybody enjoyed learning about your brand and learning about your journey. So we appreciate you.
Those that ordered it, thank you very much.
Jan, and he's going to share with us what he thinks when he gets it too. So
absolutely, send some pictures.
All right, guys. Well, there you go. That's Chris Cardenas. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Appreciate you. Appreciate your brand. And until next time, like I always say, life is too short to drink bad tequila. So if you want to pick up some Cardenas Legacy, you'll be in good shape for that. All right, guys. Bye. We'll see you next week. Have a great week. What's that?
I always say thank you for sipping.
Thank you for sipping. There you go. All right, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday for our next live stream at 7 p.m.